Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from True Off My Chest. Our first post is by Otherglove. Who knew that all I had to do was to give them my blessing for my husband and his mistress to break up? I have known about his infidelity for 10 months now when he almost missed the birth of our baby. We had a planned C-section, but our daughter decided she couldn't wait, and I called him all morning, confused and terrified, in pain because I was scheduled 2 weeks later. My mom finally got a hold of him. He smelled disgusting. My way. A perfume that I really hate. He looked more guilty than excited and he smelled disgusting. Anyway, when we got home, I looked in his phone and found out about them. I don't know how he has been able to fool me, or was I just blind? I told him that I knew and he tried to deny it, and I didn't argue. When I didn't argue, he probably felt relieved that I had dropped it, or maybe he thought I believed him. One day he came home late and he smelled of our way again, and I broke down crying and begging him to stop. To choose our family. To choose me. I love you. He just denied it again and I didn't argue again. I told him that I hated what he was doing and that I hated her disgusting perfume. I don't think it mattered because he was working late again, not a week later. The day after New Year's Day, I took my children to town because I convinced myself that I needed to do some shopping. I found myself walking around his office around lunchtime looking inside restaurants. I thought that after the holidays, keeping them apart, they would be wanting to have lunch together on their first day at work. My heart was racing and my stomach churning. I thought that if I saw them together, I would faint or even die, but none of this happened. I found them as I expected in the restaurant he used to take me to whenever I visited him. I was surprised that the hurt and humiliation I was expecting and fearing didn't come. Instead, I felt calm and relief, like something big and heavy was lifted from my heart. I even felt embarrassed that he was as predictable as I thought. I think I stopped having any feelings for him right that moment. It reeked of my way in the whole restaurant, or maybe I just imagined it. I told them that I wasn't there to cause trouble, but that I needed to see for myself. I told her that she had won and that now she could have him. I told him that if he followed after me that I would scream because he was about to. When he got home, he wanted to talk. I told him that I wasn't angry or hurt anymore. He could be with her. For almost 2 weeks now they have been arguing and fighting over text because he ended the affair. I will never understand how some people function. Why weren't my tears and pleas enough for him to end it, but my blessings were? Our next post is by Awkward Little Mush. I can't tell my bridesmaids the real reason I'm changing their dresses. I'm getting married this year and 3 of my friends are my bridesmaids. They are beautiful, wonderful people who I love with all of my heart, and I am lucky to have them. However, I can't tell them the reason I'm changing the style of their dresses for the wedding. I'm East Asian and live in the UK. I'm very petite, I'm 5 feet nothing, weigh less than 50 kilograms, 110 pounds, and am a size UK 4 to 6, US 0 to 2. Whilst I'm tiny by UK standards, I'm considered average in my part of Asia, and fit into size medium clothing. My friends are all English and bigger than me. They're at least 5 feet 5 and range from a UK size 12 to 18, US 8 to 12. They have curves in the right places and are beautiful, and one has recently given birth, so I'm aware her body will change between now and the wedding. I wanted them to wear traditional dresses from my home country for the wedding. These dresses are made up of 2 wraps, one that wraps around the waist as a skirt, and one that wraps around the top half. I showed them pictures beforehand and they all said they liked the dress style and were happy to wear it. I took their measurements and sent them to my mum in Asia, who will get them ordered and made. One of the other reasons I chose this style, apart from me loving how it looks and being a link to my culture, is that they are adjustable. If they lose weight, then we can wrap it tighter. If they gain weight, we wrap them looser. Easy. I've heard them all make comments about needing to lose weight to get wedding ready, and that they think they'll look huge next to me. My friend who had a baby is feeling particularly self-conscious. I don't want them to feel bad about themselves or hurt themselves trying to crash diet in order to look the same size as me. I'm literally the size of a child. Everyone is bigger than me. My mum called me today and said there was a problem with the dresses. She is struggling to find a dressmaker to make them because they don't make dresses for fat girls here. I don't think she meant it in a harsh way, it's just a very blunt language and culture, and might not be able to get them made. I'm upset that the dresses might not be ready in time, but I'm also trying to think of an excuse for changing the dress style that won't hurt their feelings. I'm also stressed that I've now only got a few months to find new dresses that everyone likes, in colors that fit the theme and that fit everyone comfortably. I'm just here to vent. I know I'll figure something out, it's just added so much more stress to everything and I feel like a bad friend. Edit. Thank you for the lovely words and advice, this was mainly to vent. I'm just frustrated about the entire situation. Asia still has some very toxic views and opinions about how women should look, and I get annoyed with it all. To answer some of the questions, the traditional dresses are made from a specific material, so you need to order it in a certain way to maintain the pattern and style. My mom also does not live in a major city in our country, and the area is very traditional, so these sizes are uncommon and heavily judged. She has tried several dressmakers there, and they all refused. She said she might try going to one of the bigger cities that has lots of tourists because they might be more accommodating of bigger women, but she struggles to travel, so it will be difficult for her. She is trying and I appreciate it. There are also very few dressmakers in the UK that can do this specific style, trust me, I have looked. They also live far from where we all live. Not all of us are in the same area and have conflicting schedules, and would charge 5 to 10 times per dress what they cost in our country. Also, one of the main reasons for the style choice was that they are adjustable to accommodate for changes in their weight and size, mainly for friend with baby. They've all made comments about how big they are, and I wanted them to be comfortable. Friend with baby wanted a dress in her pre-baby size, 2 to 3 sizes smaller than she is now, as motivation to lose the baby weight. Yes, I could tailor the more Western-style dresses, but once again it's a cost, time, and her body could potentially change a lot. This was just a vent about how unaccommodating my culture is. I'm looking at other dresses, it's just a pain in the ass and I hate last-minute changes. Our next post is by Throwaway. I broke up with my fiance because of his family. I don't think I can marry him because of his family. I know people will say that I am crazy, but my gut tells me I am right. This was supposed to be the first time I am meeting his parents. He has 2 sisters, mom and dad. I was excited to meet my future in-laws, but it shattered. Few days ago, I met his family. Some things about them just didn't sit right with me. His mom is very possessive about him. Like the first thing she said when she saw me was, "So you are the lady that keeps my son busy." I know it sounds like a joke, but she said it in a condescending tone. Throughout the entire gathering, she was trying to avoid me. She would get irritated whenever I got closer to my fiance. She made one very mean comment when I asked her for a piece of pie she made. She said I will not be able to fit in my dress if I eat any more of it. She deliberately made me sit far away from him so that she could sit beside him. I knew she didn't like me, but I tolerated that. But she was way too harsh on her oldest daughter. She keeps making comments like, "When are you getting married?" and if she still can't get over Ben, her brother-in-law. The thing is, Mia, oldest daughter, used to date Ben until he dumped her to be with the younger sister, Jen. Jen isn't very nice either. She was mean to Mia and kept bugging her to get a husband. Mia is 33. I don't think she needs to rush. Jen also didn't like me because she made some snide remarks about my upbringing. I grew up in an abusive household. I had to struggle a lot, whereas my fiancé came from a well-to-do family. His dad didn't speak much. He didn't say anything and just nodded. The only normal person there was Mia because she just kept to herself. But nonetheless, I did not feel very welcomed by them. I just had this gut feeling that if I get married, this will be my whole life. I would always have to be in competition with his mother. But he is so nice and sweet. I never felt so in love with anyone like I did with him. He brings me flowers, he takes care of me, he treats me like a queen. But I do not like his family at all. I broke it off with him. He was understandably sad. He asked for a reason. I just told him I didn't feel good about our relationship, that we are not compatible. There were tears, but I left. Now I am sitting in my aunt's house writing this. One moment I felt like calling him and telling him I had cold feet. We are perfect together. We earn well, we have similar hobbies, and we are sexually compatible. But this one thing about him just bugs me a lot. I am heartbroken. I know I don't deserve to be because I was the one who called it off. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.